Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanis. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. I'm going to give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So today we have a pretty interesting show for you guys that we want to get into. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you guys know, recently John Morant made his return to the NBA. And he made it in a big way. Came back, hit a game-winning bucket for his team. I believe he finished that game with something like 34 points, although he was a bit rusty in the first half, but in the second half, he really came on strong. But then what happened? At the end of the game, as he was leaving, he was running through the tunnel and he said, I kept receipts, right? I kept receipts. And then he went to the post-game conference where he was basically saying that he kept receipts of some of the things that were being said about him, or that's been said about him over the past 6 months or whatever. Now, at the time when we initially covered the story, I was thinking more of what had just transpired on the court, and it didn't really occur to me the points that we're going to be going over in today's show. So what happened? After he said that, I started to listen to what some of the other voices in sports media were saying about his comments, and then people like Wright and Rob Parker and these people really began to make me think about, wait a minute. They're making an interesting point, and their point essentially was, what did John Morant keep receipts about? They're like, John Morant is acting like as if someone put him in the position that he found himself in, when in reality, he was the one that did it to himself. And I thought, man, these guys are making some very sound points, and points that I didn't think about at the time. So really, that's what we want to focus on today. But before we even get into their comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/DREAMERSPRO. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we're going to play what Rob Parker had to say on the Yacht Couple yesterday, and play some of the comments that Nick Wright made on First Things First, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what these gentlemen had to say in response to John Morant's comments. Take a listen to that.
But Rob, after the game, Ja, he's excited. He runs off the court, running into the locker room, and he says to just random cameras, I guess, as he's running into the locker room, I kept receipts. And
is he returning something to Bloomingdale? Something we don't know about?
I don't think so. So
okay.
I think you know what he meant. He kept receipts.
Thank you.
And you didn't like it. Share your thoughts with us.
I just think that had he had 7 points in the game, would he have run out and told the media that he had receipts of the people who said whatever they said when they said it? And number 2, nobody did anything to him. Right. He did this to himself. He wasn't suspended for 25 games because they had already suspended him and warned him about his activities off the court, and he did it anyway. What receipts are there for anybody? Nobody's done anything to him other than analyze the situation, talk about what went down, how stiff the penalty was it just? Nobody did anything to him. It was the same thing when Dion, after they won, beat TCU, and Ed Werner, do you believe now? And all this other stuff. I didn't hear any of that, Chris, when they blew a 29-0 lead, or when they lost 5 of the last 6 games, or they were getting drilled. Nobody was talking about receipts. Stop with the receipts, okay? Nobody did anything to him. And you just wonder, and I understand. He had a big night. He feels he can stick his chest out and thumb his nose at everybody. Nobody did anything to Ja Morant. Chris, Ja did it to himself. And the sooner you let that go and move past that and just get back to being a great basketball player, having fun at the game, and get your name out of the headlines for bad stuff and good stuff, that's how you move on. Worrying about what people wrote and said when you were suspended or when you got suspended to me, is counterproductive.
I think that they are likely going to be on the outside looking in. B, and this is the part where I'm actually going to be the downer. I love watching Ja Morant play basketball. I also don't think Ja Morant's a bad guy. I want to make that clear. I think he's made some really terrible choices, and I think that he has to mature. I don't put him in the bucket of some guys off-court stuff, and we don't have to get into it. I'm like, oh, you're a bad person who might just be great at a sport. I don't think that about Ja. But I also, once again, wonder how much growth or learning or maturing he's done with the I kept receipts. Kept receipts about what? What was, I'm just curious, and I'm being serious here, and I know sometimes I say things, I'm like, gosh darn, you sound like your dad, and I guess we all do that to a degree, and I don't mean to. But what was the unfair commentary? What was the, Ja Morant got so many levels to me of equivocation or justification for what was undeniably reckless, irresponsible, immature behavior. You know, at the very least, it was that.
Right.
And I just, you know what it echoed to me? It echoed after the first time he got suspended or stepped away, when his dad showed up at the game and they're wearing the redemption T-shirts. And it's like, I am not a huge fan of the, I have overcome the adversity that I created through my own ludicrous actions, and therefore I'm the hero of the story. And so it's a great moment, but I don't necessarily believe in the Grizzlies as a team, and I'm not certain that we're going to have a new and improved Ja Morant.
So you heard their points. Listen, I think these guys make a fair point. They absolutely make a fair point, and I think that Ja may risk reigniting the conversation around, did this guy learn anything? Has he truly learned anything? Because if that's your central focus, after the first game of you coming back, it means that you maybe really didn't get the lesson. Maybe you went away and thought that someone did this to me. They put me in this spot. They're attacking me, as opposed to thinking, well, wait a minute. I'm the reason that I'm here. And it's a very hard thing to do. Because in life, whenever we get frustrated, whenever things happen, the last person we point fingers at is ourselves. It's usually the last person. It's our girlfriend's fault. It's our wife's fault. It's our husband's fault. It's your mother's fault. It's your dad's fault. It's your boss's fault. It's the person up the block. It's this person over there. It's that person in the subway. It's that person at the gym. It's always everybody else. It's the government, it's the law, it's all of this stuff. And then we get to the point where we're like, okay, but wait a minute. What role did we play in all of this? And sometimes it's not your fault, but sometimes it is. And sometimes once you get into that point of self-reflection and you start going through, well, what did I do? What have I done? Then you quickly begin to realize, oh, wait a minute. I played a role in all of this. Let me trace my decisions that I've made over these past 6 months, year, whatever it is, and understand what role those things played in my current predicament. And chances are there's always a level of culpability that needs to be laid upon us as well, no matter the situation. No matter the situation. Oh, I think she's crazy. I'm dating her. She's crazy. She says a lot of crazy. Yeah, but you knew. When you took her out to eat and she said that comment, you're like, what did she say? And you decided to overlook. You knew. Or I think he has you knew. So I don't want it to be that Ja feels like someone is attacking him, because when he was doing all of those things, he was doing on his own volition. No one is forcing him to do a damn thing. No one forced him to do a damn thing. So I think they make a valid point. Like, hey, bro, stop with the victimhood. Like, oh, they did it to me. I'm keeping receipt. Because the fact of the matter is, The vast majority of the people in media were rooting for John, but they want him to do well. He's a sensational, electrifying player. Now, Jay Williams of ESPN brought up a very good point, which is, listen, he's doing this to kind of channel his anger, to feel like, okay, people are against me, and this could be self-motivating, like, okay, I can motivate myself because people, I understand that. And Jay Williams brings up a valid point, because you could do that. You're using a certain emotion, which is a negative emotion, which could also be useful. But in this particular case, I don't believe that's what Ja's doing. I believe Ja's like, I'm gonna show y'all, right? And the Nick Wright and Rob Parker are asking, well, who are the y'all? Who are the y'all are you referring to? And I think it's a fair question. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this: what do you think about the points that Rob Parker and Nick Wright brought up, and do you think that John Morant has truly learned his lesson? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.